Welcome to Ramble On, where we talk about our favorite stuff and then we talk about it some more. On today's show, Dan, everybody's favorite video ninja, is here to bring forth his insights, his opinions, and his dashing good looks. Nerd Girl Extreme Whitless is here to prove once and for all that she knows how to nerd. Also on today's show, Errol, the funny-looking Asian half of internet duo Debs and Errol, is here to make some funny faces and a lot of noise. This week, the Ramblers take a look at the 1979 horror sci-fi classic by Ridley Scott, Alien. All right, Ramblers, let's get ready to ramble!
Hello, my name is Errol.
My name's Whitless.
And I'm Dan.
And we are here because Dan had a great idea that we should do a video review.
All together.
All together.
Yeah.
Because there's 3 of us and there are 4
Movies.
That doesn't really make sense. If there were 3 movies, this would make all sorts of sense.
Well, the 4th one usually doesn't count.
No, it doesn't.
We have the Alien Squadrilogy.
Huzzah! Woo! Ah, look, there's an alien on the front.
I like how we're holding it right in front of Amanda's face there.
And look, it's all, ooh, look, it even looks like a little book. This is the Blu-ray,
awesome.
Right?
This is the Blu-ray anthology of all 4 of the Alien movies.
Anthology, and it's like a children's book.
Well, it's a children's story.
It's a children's story
Classic
with a lot
children's
of
story.
references. I should show you all the fun things. I haven't seen this, so that's why I wanted to look. This is his, and when did you see last? Did you watch through all of them?
Actually, I watched the first couple of movies on New Year's Eve with my friend Bonnie. I watched the first 2 movies that night, and then the day after, while I was recovering, because it was New Year's Eve, I watched the rest of them. And they make good hangover recovery movies. I'll just say that.
I saw them for the first time last year, actually.
For the first time?
Yeah, Leaf was appalled. He lent me his quadrilogy.
The first time? Wow.
I'm appalled.
You're so young.
But I saw them. I'm not... Yes.
You're reading is what you're doing.
I'm looking at it. I haven't seen it. It's nice. It's book form.
So we'll go through
It's
and
pretty.
I guess we'll I put it
Actually,
out.
I haven't actually seen these movies for a long time.
So it'll be interesting to see what
Because
you
the last
remember.
time, I mean, I saw Alien Resurrection, the 4th one, in the theaters. So that's so when did that come out? That came out like
early 2000. No. It was earlier than that. It's like 1999.
Yeah, so
Probably says somewhere on the box, but I'm not about
it's
to
been
like,
over
dig through
20 years probably since, well, no, a long time.
20
Decades.
years.
Decades.
Your math skills are just failing.
Yeah, I know.
Well, we'll start with the first one. The first
Right.
one was directed by Ridley Scott in 1979. It's often considered to be one of the best science fiction movies of that time because he also did Blade Runner at the same time. So that and Alien are considered the big sci-fi movies of the late 70s, early 80s.
And they're so close, like when it comes to action-oriented scenes. I'm kidding.
No, yeah. Well, what it is the first one really is, for all intents, like I have a hard time, I've had to argue this point so many times with other people that like these movies. Everybody refuses to believe that the first one was a horror movie. Everybody always seems to think science fiction in the 70s and everything. They think 2001. They think, you know, that kind of dreamy, abstract, slow-paced Stanley Kubrick type humor.
That's how long
humor
can we
porn.
dock into that space station? That was forever.
But it was so... Yeah, it was to dig forever. Like I said, I have to argue with this all the time because people watch it nowadays, like today's audience will watch it. And they say it's slow, and they say it's boring.
Really?
And they say it's,
Really?
all it is like it's a silly, you know, stupid sci-fi movie from 30 years ago.
Because watching it last year, I loved it.
You're not a good thermometer for what's scary.
No, because you laugh.
You know me, I scare at if there's a cricket there, I'll get scared, okay?
Or a spider.
Spiders.
No, it's a really great psychological
Tension.
horror movie, yeah. And,
well, the first movie, the big argument among academics, is I had to study this movie when I took film crit class in college, right?
See, that's gross too when it goes.
that was gross, yeah.
Yeah. A lot of video game fans these days herald the Silent Hill games for being so scary and everything, because they had a lot of symbolism in them.
Symbology too.
And that too. The alien itself, it's of course the Geiger design, you know, that big...
Geiger's cool.
Yeah.
I played its fun little adventure game where he also designed all the creatures and all the sets and everything. It was just as creepy.
I think I know about that game.
Yeah, it was a Dark Seed. It was called Dark Seed.
Yes.
Have you played? Oh, did you play Dark Seed?
I haven't played it.
Oh, it was really. I got this cheap.
Find her an adventure game that she doesn't
Yeah,
know.
really. I found Dark Seed. So
Okay. No, she knows about it.
she knows about
about
it.
it.
You're right.
Play
She
it.
doesn't know.
The Geiger design of the aliens, it's got that sort of
Phallic
look to it, in the way that its head's shaped, and the way that it kills people with the protrusion. That's a lot. There's a lot of symbology. I'm not gonna be able to say that
And then
word
the
right.
Face hugger.
The face hugger has got that sort of thing. The ship that they find the aliens in, the big portals have that sort of yonic shape to them. So that's what gives it and the slow pacing, and you know, back in the 70s and everything, the idea of putting people out in space, you know, where there's no escape. It's like being out in the ocean, or it's like being, you know, trapped underwater. You know, that's why a lot of good horror movies, they put you in this isolated, claustrophobic place.
It's scary. I actually would never want to go to space.
And often in horror movies, the big scare comes from, everybody always says, the scariest part is the stuff you don't see. And in the first Alien movie, the alien has the least amount of screen time out of all 4 of the movies. Like you only see him for like a split second every time he shows up. All up until then, it's
and he's freaking looking too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
like,
Geiger's design.
It was brilliant because he was so. Because like aliens beforehand were.
It was coming out of the 60s
They were
and 50s and
goofy.
everything. So
They were
everybody
goofy.
thought of like the Greys,
Yeah.
or you know, Martians, or things like that. They had never seen something so visceral and so, you know, symbolic. Getting away from the alien and everything, the actors in the first movie too. You're not talking about, like, when we get to the second movie, we'll talk about, you know, the Marines and everything, the gung-ho, testosterone-driven macho dudes and everything. The first movie, though, the best analogy I've ever heard of it is truckers in space.
Yeah.
You know what's really gross too? I remember. I can't remember. This is in the first movie where the android Bishop.
That's the second movie.
That's the second one. Oh.
Yeah.
Really, which is the one in the first one?
The first movie, actually, there is an android in the first movie, and it's played by Bilbo Baggins.
Yes, so it's not Bishop, sorry, but his
name is, I can't remember his name. It'll come
Evil
to me.
android.
Evil android.
And he's sitting
Ash.
there with just his head. Ash?
Ash is his name.
Ash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
that
he's
was-
sitting there and he's like spitting out like liquids.
Oh yeah, because the android obviously is, you know, in the 70s, sci-fi and everything, robots are evil. So the android ends up, you know, being a bad guy in the movie. So they end up trashing him. And like, you know, he's all torn apart and everything, and his guts and stuff and hang out. But it's not like, you know, spaghetti guts and everything. It's like milk and paper mache.
But that was gross.
He's evil
I just remember that because he's just talking.
Yeah, he's got his head like
And
knocked off.
And
And
then
it's,
eventually this milky substance comes off and he's still talking. And it's gross. I remember. I was grossed out by that.
He didn't strike me as particularly evil in a way.
But he
like
was
evil
very-
to the plot, but he was very, well, there's just all logic there. He
Yeah.
had a mission.
He's very
and it was
mechanical.
actually to protect this organism.
Like
I don't
how?
know. You know what? The scene. There's a scene at when Ripley finds out about his big secret mission, and he goes and attacks her. And he's got that sort of, you know, his wires are crossed. He's got that twitching sort of going on. And the one thing he does to her that always disturbs a lot of people and everything, he's knocked her out. She's laying on a table and everything. He gets a roll of newspaper, rolls it up into a cylinder, and tries to shove it down her throat.
Oh yeah!
Now remember, we were talking about like symbolism and, you know, fallacies and all that kind of stuff. The big twist. This was back before movies had, you know, Shyamalan twists or whatever they're called. The big twist was at the end where they're trying to get off the ship. It's down to just Ripley, right?
Yeah.
She's trying to get off the ship and everything. She gets off the ship blows up, and oh, okay, she's safe.
Yeah.
She's in the little life ship or whatever.
Yeah.
And, you know, she's just getting ready to, you know, settle down.
Being in
and,
her underwear.
and being in her underwear, yeah.
I remember that too.
That does help. That does help, because what happens is the alien shows up. Pops up out of nowhere. It's not like, you know, chasing her around or anything, because it's obviously wounded. So then you have there's this final scene of like all the tension is drained out of you. You're not expecting this seriously sexualized scene, because like you said, Ripley's in her underwear. You've got this, you know, for all intents and purposes, a personification of a phallic symbol.
Yeah, you're liking this, aren't you?
But it's this quiet scene. There's no music. There's only the sound of this The sound of that, yeah. There's the sound of this alien just breathing heavily in the background, and she's got to try and sneak away around it in her underpants, and it's like it's doing things very subtly, and that's the creepy scene for me. That is the scene that seals it. You're just kind of like, I don't want to be stuck in this really tiny room with this, you know, penis monster in my underwear.
Just like watching anime.
Did you see the movie when it came into theaters? Or did you?
No, I might have been too young to go to that. I probably wouldn't have been.
We were definitely too young.
I am curious. I knew about the chest burster scene because it's just this really iconic thing. And so it was good to finally see it in its original context. But I'm like, imagine being someone in the theater who knew nothing about what
the actors actually in the chest burster scene.
Oh yeah, they didn't know.
The actors didn't. Well, they knew that it was coming out. They did not know that all that blood would come flying at their faces.
And they didn't know exactly what it looked like.
Yeah, but that's the first movie, and it was a huge hit. And like I said, it's been parodied. The chest burster scene is one of those scenes, like the Psycho shower scene or any of those other scenes. It's been parodied up and down. In fact, Spaceball fans.
Oh, I remember that.
Always get a kick out of the chest burster scene at the end because not only is that parodying the movie, but the actual actor is the same guy.
John Hurt.
John Hurt. Yeah.
Oh no, not again.
So that's the first movie, and it's.
I know that's still my favorite, I think, of the four.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not his.
It's not.
No.
No.
We don't know what it is though, but we'll find out.
We'll have to stay to the end to find out.